The entire scientific community welcomes embracing policy through evidence.
Now fast forwarding again to May 30th, when scientists held a press conference at Queen's Park and confirmed that remediation of Grassy Narrows River is in fact possible. At that same time, also in the legislature building, Premier Kathleen Wynne made a formal apology for colonial policies and, quote, abuses of the past, the residential school system, which from the 1870s to 1996 forcibly removed an estimated 150,000 Indigenous children from their families and placed them in remote boarding schools to, quote, kill the Indian in the child.
I apologize for the province's silence in the face of deaths and abuses at residential schools. And I apologize for the fact that the residential schools are only one example of systematic, intergenerational injustices inflicted upon Indigenous communities across Canada.
The aim of education is to destroy the Indian.
The shocking abuses at these institutions are by now well documented. But Wynne went beyond acknowledging just this dark history. She spoke of reconciliation with First Nations.
I think that it's important that we raise those very words here at this press conference today.
ISADORE Day is the Ontario Regional Chief with the Assembly of First Nations. He spoke during Grassy Narrows Week of Action and has previously called the community's lack of access to clean water unacceptable in a water-rich country like Canada.
The apology yesterday and the commitment to deal with colonial policy is very altruistic to this Premier, that the Grassy Narrows issue should be part of the follow-up and action based on that apology.
The ball is in her court, so to speak, and she has to, our government is going to have to respond.
And in that spirit, when she was pressed about the scientists' latest report and the concrete possibility of cleaning the water of Grassy Narrows, she responded in this manner.
If there is new science that shows that there's a way to clean up that water and to get that mercury out without causing more damage, I would be thrilled to know that.
So there is new ways of cleaning like the river compared to 1983 to 2016. There's new engineers, new ways of thinking.
I haven't seen that information.
She said she hadn't seen the study, which is odd because her government paid for it. And again, she personally established the very working group that commissioned this report, which was delivered to her government weeks ago. The Premier went on to cast gentle doubt on the document, saying that she didn't know the source of it. As if the study was somehow a source of mystery, a conspiracy theory, or perhaps it had descended in a cone of light from a UFO. This morning, the Premier admitted that, yes, her government had received the report in April and said that she had now read the recommendations. But she seized on a section of the report that called for more study, and she suggested that the report only offers partial solutions.
I just don't want words, and we want action.
With the growing threat of climate change, there's an added layer of urgency to the contamination in Grassy Narrows, since toxins like mercury become more problematic to remove from the ecosystem over time.
Certainly climate change is going to change the way river flows, going to change the way rivers move sediments. Climate change will also affect water temperature. Water temperature and sediment temperature will affect the way mercury gets transformed in the sediments and makes it more available to aquatic organisms.
As we're waiting for the river to be cleaned up, and in my community it's a war zone.
The First Nations have always come under this particular jurisdictional problem of being First Nations are under federal jurisdictions and yet the waterways are under provincial jurisdiction. This allows neither jurisdiction to respond. The federal government does have a registry of contaminated sites. This location, to my knowledge, has not gone on that registry. Why not?
Well, your viewers will be familiar with the concept of environmental racism, where environmental impacts are borne by communities of color, by Indigenous peoples that would never be tolerated or accepted by any other community. This is one of the clearest examples I could think of in Canada.
We want to be heard, and I hope Premier Wynne will get it through her head that it is possible to have our water clean.
It's only going to happen if there is political will.
We've been dealing with the provincial government all this time, and all the time it's always just damage control for them.
It is yet to be seen if Kathleen Wynne's apology for, quote, past abuses will hold any weight.
I thought the ground started to move today.
This song here, It's for everyone. Our song got over 500,000 views.
Yeah! This is an astonishing moment where the juxtaposition of an inaction on this report, which is so crystal clear, while at the same time these extravagant, beautiful words about reconciliation.
Will the Premier commit today to the cleanup of the Wabigoon River of the mercury once and for all?
If there is a way, Mr. Speaker, to clean up that river, obviously we want to look at that.
This government is going to feel heat for this.
Being here and being able to attend this with the other people that traveled with us from Grassy, I think it's really a good experience for us younger ones.
Today we walk away with the Parliament buildings behind us, and the next step we want to go is Justin Trudeau.